Dear friends, good night everyone. Welcome back once again to Saravero Will Be True on the Friday of the Spirit. Today is Friday, and once again we are in your company as well as you are in our company. So as the hostesses do on the airplanes, as if we were actually air hostesses, we remind you how to get in contact with us. There is the live on Facebook, and I'm just seeing that you are already following us. Wow, so many. We'll greet you later when you will start writing. Also, do not forget the live on YouTube. And the WhatsApp number is 00393461077159. And there is also the phone call from home, which often happens, as I used to say, and it's always very nice. Tonight, dear friends, we have a most welcome comeback. A character who has become famous thanks to what has already become his mission. The first time we had him as a guest here in Saravero, he told us about his very tough juvenile odyssey, which ultimately led him to be what he is now. So he took a specific direction in front of a crossroads he stumbled upon. It's a huge pleasure for us to have him back, and I feel extremely honored to introduce him to you once again, also because he has become a friend, our dearest Alberto Caccialanza. Hi Alberto.
Ciao, grazie mille.
Hi, thank you very much, dear friend. It's a pleasure to be here, and we are always locked and loaded. Well, allow me for a second to say again, what was your second Odyssey? Not the previous one. So, who is Alberto Caccialanza? This regular kid who, after a few sublime experiences that he lived on his own skin, has become a very famous popularizer of Marian messages, both nationally and internationally. Why? Because all over the world, in lots of places in the world, there are some visionaries who receive the messages of the Heavenly Mother, and guess what? They predict what is going to happen way earlier, and all of this always happens on time. So that has become your mission, is that right, dear Alberto? Yes, of course. Actually, in the past, I have spread some messages and prophecies which were fulfilled kind of in the general indifference, and I have brought you here a few messages which explain what's going on. First of all, people are focused on this pandemic, on this future made of restrictions with these liquids, with these impositions, and that's all they can see. In most cases, whenever I have time, I follow a WhatsApp group chat and I see that they are talking about this topic. It's alright and understandable. However, there is much more to know and we must be prepared. Therefore, I'm going to read you a few messages right away. Go, tell us right away what's cooking in this big pot, which is planet Earth. Of course, Carbonia, Operation Sardinia, a message of 2017. America will taste the pain of its sin. It will find itself naked in front of me. It doesn't stand a chance and will perish in its own pride. Russia is about to lay down its law of war. China will be the destroyer with all of its bacteriological weapons, which will kill a third of the population. Italy will cry for not having bowed down to me. First of all, a third of the population reminds us of the Revelation passage 9, where he specifically talks about this last great war. So this message is actually reminding the sacred texts, the war in the sacred texts. Now, the message from 2014. China is in turmoil. The United States of America is on alert. Russia will dictate its candidacy as world prime minister, and China will join Russia. So there will be a union between Russia and China, and the USA will heavily suffer, as I just read in this message. also because of its sins. Starting from the period right after World War II onwards, USA has been the worst warmonger. For example, the war in Korea in the 50s, the one in Vietnam in the 60s, and so on. It's already a spine-chilling scene. However, we have also plenty of evidence that these wars have been organized, so this scene is far heavier. For example, the made-up ally Iraq possessed chemical weapons and long-range missiles, which were able to travel long distances, therefore above the permissible limits. So they went to war with Iraq. Or the made-up ally Syria dropped chlorine gas on civilians in 2012. Then they had the excuse to enter war. For example, they made up the attack in New York against the Twin Towers in 2001. It's crystal clear, everyone knows it's been organized, not only that minority of humanity which has awakened, but also many more people. Many more people got it. Moreover, it's not just about the wars. For example, in USA there are clinics which pay women $550 for an abortion when they are 3 months pregnant. Then they dissect these aborted fetus, these live fetus, and they export its organs, such as lungs, liver, and then out of these organs, of these tissues, they produce the famous liquids which you know very well. Now let's pick up the Gospel and open it to read what's written in there. For example, but whoever shall offend one of these little ones, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Or it is written, he who lives by the sword will perish by the sword. So now let's try and imagine what will happen to the USA. Not a nice future at all. Let's just say that it will take many millstones, dear Alberto, because not only in the USA but also in China, a lot of societies will practice these atrocities for birth control. Absolutely. However, there is another aspect to consider. Who have always been the allies of USA, Europe? So what's written in the message I read earlier? Italy will cry. In fact, Italy did her nice part. It has deposited 100 nuclear warheads in its territory, in its military bases, such as Aviano. So we are accomplices of the American crimes. Moreover, by having deposited their weapons in our territory, we have just become a magnet for their enemies, and we will be hit also because of this. Back to the messages. Luz de Maria, Apparitions, Argentina, 2020.
Apparizioni Argentina 2020.
Pray, my children. Pray.
Pregate, figli miei, pregate.
Communism will advance,
avanzerà,
putting Rome
lasciando Roma
in agony.
agonia.
2015.
2015,
Pray for Rome, my
pregate
children.
per
Terrorism
Roma,
is
figli miei.
lurking.
Il terrorismo
It will
è in
deal
agguato
a
ed
fatal
assisterà un
blow.
colpo mortale.
Trevignano Romano, Apparitions
Trevignano
Rome,
Romano,
2018.
apparizioni Roma
Pray for
2018.
Rome.
Pregate per
Terrorism
Roma, il
will not be long
terrorismo
in
non
coming.
tarderà ad arrivare.
Oliveto Citra, Apparitions, Salerno,
Oliveto Citra, apparizioni Salerno
2004.
2004.
Vatican
Il
is
Vaticano
in
in
danger.
pericolo.
It will be destroyed
Esso
very
molto
soon.
presto sarà distrutto.
Carbonia, 2017.
Carbonia
Paris will
2017.
be once again assaulted
Parigi
by
sarà
enemies.
nuovamente aggredita
Madrid
dai nemici.
will be also
Madrid sarà anch'essa
attacked by
attaccata dai
enemies.
nemici,
But
ma
now
ora
it's
tocca a
Rome's
Roma.
turn.
Gli
The deadliest
attentati
terrorist attacks which happened in Europe,
più
starting
forti
from World War II
avvenuti sul
onwards,
territorio europeo
took
a
place
partire dal periodo post
in
seconda guerra mondiale in poi sono
Bataclan,
stati a Parigi,
in
a Bataclan,
Paris with
con
about
100
100
vittime
victims,
all'incirca,
and in
e
Madrid,
a
Spain,
Madrid, in Spagna
2004
nel
with about
2004 con
200
200 morti
victims.
all'incirca.
Now it's
Adesso
time for
tocca
Rome.
a Roma.
However, it will not
Però
be
non sarà un
just an
semplice
attempt. The
attentato,
Russian and the
ci sarà
Chinese
un'unione
army
tra
will join
l'esercito
together with
russo,
Islamic
cinese ed estremisti
extremists
islamici
and they will
e
tear
faranno
apart
a
the
pezzi
Vatican.
il Vaticano.
Let's get back
Ritorniamo
to
al
the
Vangelo.
gospel.
Chi
He
spada
who
ferisce,
lives
si
by the
spadaferirà.
sword will perish by the
Il
sword. The
Vaticano ha
Vatican has
nascosto una
hidden a
parte
part
del
of the
terzo
third
segreto di
secret of
Fatima,
Fatima.
ha
It has
nascosto una
hidden a part
parte
of the
del
secret
segreto
of
di
Lourdes.
Lourdes, ha
It has
nascosto una
hidden a
parte del
part of the
segreto di
secret
La
of La Salette.
Salette, ha
The Vatican
riciclato i
has
soldi della
laundered money for the mafia
non
and does not use,
utilizza, non
it does not practice works of
pratica opere di
charity in a way
carità in un modo
proportionate to
proporzionato ai
what is
soldi che ha
stored
depositato
in
in
its
banca.
bank.
Oppure abbiamo
Or
visto
just a
poco
little
tempo fa,
while
è
ago,
successo,
we have
Cardinal
seen the
Pell,
Cardinal Pell, Vatican
ministro delle
finance
finanze
minister,
vaticane, che è
being
stato
arrested
arrestato perché ha
because he
abusato di
abused
decine e
dozens
decine
and
di
dozens of
bambini,
children.
e lo ha
And he
confessato lui
himself
stesso,
confessed
arrestato.
that, arrested.
Il Vaticano
Moreover, the
poi
Vatican has
ha
covered up several
nascosto
cases
vari
of
casi di
pedophilia all
pedofilia in
over
giro
the
per il
world,
mondo,
in
in varie
several countries.
nazioni.
Then, these
Questi
priests
preti
were
poi venivano
moved to
spostati
other
in altre
parishes, and then
parrocchie,
what's
e cosa
happened?
succedeva?
They abused
Abusavano di
other
altri
children.
bambini. Queste sono
These
delle
are
spade
extremely heavy swords
estremamente pesanti che il
accumulated by the
Vaticano ha
Vatican,
accumulato,
and it
e
will be
sarà
severely hit
colpito
precisely
pesantemente
because of
proprio
it.
per questo.
This is what is
Questo è
meant to
quello che deve
happen in a
succedere
few
fra pochi
years.
anni.
However, now I
Adesso
will
però
be
voglio andare su un
practical.
discorso
Why?
pratico.
The
Perché?
liquid. You know what
Il
I'm talking
liquido,
about.
sai
If
già
you
di
got
cosa
the
parlo.
liquid,
Se hai
you
il
can go to the
liquido,
shops, you can
puoi
go left
andare
and
nei
right and
negozi,
to
puoi andare a
work.
destra, puoi andare a sinistra,
If you do
al
not have
lavoro.
the liquid,
Se non
you
hai il
cannot
liquido,
go
non
left
puoi
and
andare
right.
a destra e a
So many
sinistra.
people asked
Quindi
me,
tante
so
persone
what
mi hanno
should we
chiesto, ma
do
come ci
now?
dobbiamo
We are in
comportare? Insomma,
trouble.
siamo in difficoltà.
Well, let's keep
Seguiamo
following
sempre la
the
legge di
law
Cristo.
of Christ. If you have the
Se
liquid,
hai il
you are
liquido,
an accomplice to
sei
Satan's
complice
plans.
dei piani di
So you
Satana,
throw some
quindi
swords,
lanci delle
and those
spade
swords are
e
bound to
devono
come back.
tornare indietro delle
Therefore,
spade,
you will
quindi
be more
sarai
prone
più
to, more
incline, sarai
vulnerable
più
to be
vulnerabile per
hit
essere
by
colpito
future
dalle
wars
future
which will
guerre
be
che
coming.
arriveranno.
On the other hand,
Invece se
if
non
you
hai il
don't have the
liquido,
liquid,
non
you are
sei
not an
complice al
accomplice to
male,
the
non sei
evil, you are
complice
not accomplice
ai
to
piani di
Satan's
Satana,
plans.